right, so make we head on to the headlines for today. Please feel free to send me a WhatsApp message on 070 0703 157 Okay, so do want to send in your WhatsApp messages to 070 Those are the numbers, and then you can also use 08155 917 Those are the numbers to get in touch with me through text messages or WhatsApp messages. Okay. So I will just go ahead with the headlines, and we will open up the phone lines. Or rather, I would open up the phone lines pretty much soon so that you can all be a part of it. After all, our analyst is not here today. So call. Now me and you could do this thing today. Make I just tell you now. All right, so feel free to be a part of it. Let's get to hear from you this morning. Okay, let's start off with the headline this morning. Today being the 3rd of April, 2026. Today is Friday, and it's a good Friday. Easter is on Sunday. There's public holiday today. There's public holiday on Monday. How are you? How are you spending the holidays? What are you doing to make sure that this holiday really counts? I hope that so. Put that at the back of our minds, okay? And try to make use of the public holidays in a good way. All right. So let's head on to the Punch. Starting up with the Punch this morning on the Punch newspaper. Oh, before that, I'm live on YouTube, so you can go ahead and watch me live on YouTube, okay, at WFM 917. You can also go ahead and follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, X, and okay, I've mentioned that of YouTube, at WFM 917. So please do what to do all of that, okay? All right, on the Punch newspaper this morning, 2027 battle, INEC under fire as ADC crisis worsens. Oh yeah, right from yesterday or day before yesterday, I think we've been reading about some of the crisis that is going on within the ADC party. So ADC seems like the strongest opposition that we have presently, you know, to the APC and even to PDP, although even PDP said they get their own internal crisis. But ADC seems to be the strongest opposition we have so far, or rather since the coalition and since, becoming a party of its own and having different leaders, including, people that contested for presidential presidential seats, vice presidential, and all of these people, and even former, vice presidents who have all come together to form this party. Now they have actually, so far been the strongest opposition we have, or that we can see presently to the APC and PDP. But they're also battling with their own crisis internally. So when you look at what's going on here, you just begin to wonder, hey, what's going on? Are these people together? Are they coordinated? Is this what we're going to see in 2027? So a lot is just going on there, but we'll get to see how all of this, unfolds. And if we have time today, we'll probably look at, one of the headlines that have to do with ADC crisis. Okay, let's head on to the next one. On the Punch newspaper, the next one, 15-year-old Delta boy dies after suspected drug overdose. This is really sad. This is really sad. I just hope that, all our, um, what do you call it? All our health agencies, are looking into this and are up and doing as regards this. So I'm talking about NAFDAC. I'm talking about the Nigerian health, sector, all of the systems that we have in place. They get to checkmate this so that we don't have more of this happening. I'm also talking about NDLEA. All right, because it's a long running battle, and we need to keep motivating ourselves to see that we win this war against drugs, drug abuse, and all of that. So yeah, this is quite a sad one. This is a young, boy who, to a very large extent, maybe would have done or would have been able to get on with life and become somebody. And who knows, maybe, become somebody that will lead us somewhere. All right, let's head on to the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper this morning, 1 in 4 cases dies as Lassa fever ravages Bauchi, Kasina, Taraba, and others. Should it was yesterday here. I was talking about this Lassa fever. I was even calling on NCDC, Nigeria Center for Disease Control. Kilo Day, what is happening? Are we looking into this Lassa fever thing? Because it's becoming too much. And every day we come on the news, we read of more cases. We read of, other places that maybe have not even contracted the Lassa fever now, having all of that. So please, let's try to look into this. NCDC, please try to look into this. Even maybe NGOs or CSOs that are into health, please try to look into this and see what can be done. Because we cannot come here every day and be shouting Lassa fever, and this is something that can be contained. This is something that they could actually do. So please, let's try as much as possible to look into this. So I'm calling on all the authorities in our health sector to please take a look at this. We know that there's insecurity. We know that there are a lot of issues, but this particular one has to do with health. And you know what they say, when there's like when you're healthy, you can actually live. So it's health is wealth. So if we don't have a healthy nation, especially if it's affecting our children, our young ones, then what future do we actually have? Okay, so please, I'm calling on all of the health agencies. I'm calling on the federal government. Please do well to look into this. Okay. So Lassa fever is Bauchi, Kasina, Taraba, and so many other places. And now that we're in the heat period, the rains are just, starting to come in. There's also meningitis that is going around in maybe clogged areas, in places where there is no breeze, in places where, you know, um, there are a lot of mosquitoes, they have bad water, stagnant water, and all of this. So all of these diseases actually breed in such environments, and plus, the heat. There's no much ventilation going and coming, and sometimes the kind of houses that are being built these days, no ventilation. They will just be parking because they just want to collect money, no ventilation. So, this is not just about Lassa fever; it's also about meningitis. Please let's take a look into this. Okay, that's for all our health agencies or um, different departments that have to do with health in the government, from the government parts. All right, so that's one of the headlines on the Guardian newspaper. Another one says federal government down to Ofo commits 65 billion naira to food bank as First Lady flags malnutrition crisis. So the First Lady came out to say, oh, there's a lot of malnutrition going on, and a lot of people have been donating for her to go on with the malnutrition crisis, trying to mitigate it. So there's a lot going on. Dangote has given his own, of course, given his own and all. So just to contribute to the food bank, so that to a very large extent is mitigating the the malnutrition crisis. But one question that comes to mind is that this is not the first time I was seeing the first lady, come out to do something like this. I think during her birthday, was it last year or so? She was collecting donations for I can't remember exactly what, but I know that she has collected donations to be able to fill the gap in a particular I can't remember what it is right now, but sometime last year she did that. So I'm now thinking it is her way of maybe giving back. And let's not forget that all of these things that she's probably soliciting for these funds for, or asking people to contribute and all of that, I think it was for the agri sector. Yeah, she did that, if I'm not mistaken, last year. I can't remember, but I'll place it right now. So is this probably her own style of getting this done? And let's not also forget that some of these things that she is soliciting this money for, or probably accepting all of this um commitments, or whatever term we need to call it. Some of these things should be things that the federal government itself should be able to take care of, are things that the federal government itself are supposed to be first hand in it. So if you have people who just want to donate, or people who just want to add to what the federal government is doing, fine, then you go ahead and do so. All right, and we know that there's a malnutrition crisis because first money no day. Even you say when they see small small money wey you dey work, you dey try see say okay o make things go well for you. How many times you dey chop a day? Talk more of person wey no even get am at all at all. Person wey no even get the work at all at all. Imagine wetin the person wan dey chop in a day. Imagine the children themselves. Shebi it was which day sef? The compound where I lived previously, I saw one of the little girls in the compound who was, growing, with all her chubbiness. She was, and all of that. Now I know that sometimes re weight reduction comes with growth for a lot of children. So you find somebody who has been chubby since maybe birth, and then getting to about a year plus, and you or maybe 2 years, you find that child chubby, being chubby. But after that, you begin to see a weight reduction in those children, and that's because it comes with growth. So they grow taller, and then a lot of all of the chubbiness is being shed out. So for this little girl, I think she's about 2, if I'm not mistaken, just about 2, or let's say 2.5 years. And the way I saw that little girl, I just told myself, no, this is not it, because I I'm privy to the kind of um I'm privy to the kind of life that the parents live. So the father is just trying to do hand to mouth kind of job. The mom that herself is not even working at the moment, because I think she had a CS for it. So it's just a lot going on in the family. So, and then I could see that that young girl was actually lacking all the nutrients that she needs. So that's that. Those are some of the things that when you see them, even you yourself, you will say, "Ah, God, please, God, I beg." All right. So it's definitely a good cause. It is a good cause. Okay. Yeah, it is. So well, that's coming from the Guardian newspaper. Let's head on to this day newspaper. On this day newspaper, despite party crisis, Turkey claims over 4 million Nigerians registered for PDP. Are you people seeing this kind of thing? So 4 million Nigerians registered for the PDP. All right. So even with all of the wahala, the kitty kitty kata kata wey dey PDP, you still get a plenty number of people like this where they still go back to register to this party. So you can actually tell that you still have people who believe in the ideology of the PDP. All right. So another one here on this day says federal government evacuate 1,230 stranded Nigerians in the Niger Republic. All right, so those are the headlines coming from this the newspaper. Now let's head on to Daily Trust. Now on Daily Trust, plenty killings won't happen. Again, says Tinubu. All right, so yesterday Tinubu went to Jos, and he was able to, talk about some of the things that have happened, or not some, in fact, maybe all of the things that happened in Jos. So, or rather in Plateau State. So the president went there and he made his promises and all of that. Oh, this will not happen again. I have deployed. I have told the governor, or I've told the governor, or rather, we are going to deploy what was that, AI-driven camera around Plateau State. All right, so that's what the government has decided to do. So in that particular state, that's in Plateau State, but we have Kwara, we have okay, did I say Kwara? We have other states though, that all of these are happening. So in that kind of instance, what do you do, or how do you go about it? So it's just and then if you're saying this won't happen again, so president, what if I'm just saying what if. So is it the camera, is it the AI driven camera that you're going to place in other places? All right, we're talking about some other places that are ravaged by insecurity. Is that what we are going to be doing? Is that going to help? I'm just thinking, is that going to really help? And if you're saying to stop now, or plot killings won't happen again, then what other measures are you put in place to stop this? I'm just saying. All right, so this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, and it's 12 minutes to 8 on this side of the radio. Do well to be a part of the program by dialing 07000 917 917 or 09155 917 917. Please do well to go ahead and let us get to hear from you. Um, by sending us WhatsApp messages to 070 317 56537. Those are the numbers to get in touch with me this morning. Don't forget you can watch me live on YouTube at WFM 917. You can also do it to dial the numbers 07000 or 08155 917 917. All right, so those are the numbers to get in touch with me this morning on the program Daily News Review on the Full Breakfast Show. All right, we're still on Daily Trust, so particulars won't happen again, says Tony. But another one says that ADC leaders ask INEC chairman to step down. ADC leaders ask INEC chairman to step down. So, like I said earlier, a lot is going on within the ADC. I just hope they're able to resolve it between, now and the elections, or between now and the end of this year. So, hopefully, we get to see all of this resolved and they come back to being one. Okay. All right, so those are the headlines from Daily Trust. Let's head on to Vanguard. Now, on Vanguard newspaper, 2027, I've not endorsed any aspirant, says Governor Alia. I have not endorsed any aspirant, says Governor. Thank you. Yes, that's what the governor is saying, Governor Alia. Because the elections are coming on. So yeah, you would definitely be seeing a lot of such comments. All right, another one on the Vanguard says police detained 4 over military uniform in Abia. Okay, now you know be military. Now you no get any connection to military, but now you they buy their khaki. Now you they sew, and now you they go they meet them. Or rather now you, and then they'll get to see you. Yes, the other way, and then they get to see you. Maybe for road though, as you're feeling, you are seeing yourself on top of the road because you wear khaki. My dear sister and brother, don't go and do past yourself. Because they will just quickly do what they want to do on you. All right, so let's see. The next one we have is Premium Times. Let's head on to the Premium Times. Now, on Premium Times, APC replies ADC over leadership crisis. Says parties assembly of confused desperate politicians. Now, wow. APC replies ADC worshipping crisis, says leadership. And then it's no, not leadership. APC replies ADC over leadership crisis, yes. Says parties assembly of confused desperate politicians. All right, let's head on to another one on the Premium Times. This one says gunmen kill another traditional ruler in Ebonyi. This is really sad. Gunmen kill another traditional ruler in Ebonyi. That is not nice at all. All right, so I'm hoping that the security operatives get to the end of this and they're able to find out who did any of this. All right, to the Nation newspaper right now, 2027, the anointed candidate for no anointed candidate for any seat, says Lagos APC. Telling members. Okay, so it's saying that governor desperate to it's saying that the APC faction, of Lagos State, or the APC itself, is saying that they've not appointed any candidate yet to any seat. So for those that would you know for those right now in Lagos who are trying to maybe contest or preparing to contest for any position at all, you probably know that this one you need to go and find out all you need to do, or rather you need to just find your way of doing things, because at the end of the day, Lagos is not giving us who their candidates is. So it's a no appointed candidate for any seats those members. All right. So yes, that is coming from the Nation newspaper. Let's head on to another one on the Nation newspaper. Now, this one says PDP faction claims over 4.26 million new members in ongoing registration drive. All right. It says again that PDP faction claims over 4.26 million naira members in ongoing registration drive. All right. Let's head on to the cable newspaper. The cable goes on to say that Abiodun orders closure of Ogun schools after gas leak affect 48. Um, After gas leak affect 48 students. Abiodun orders closure of Ogun school after voice. I beg your pardon. Abiodun orders closure of Ogun State schools after gas leak affects 48 students. All right, so another one says Tinubu orders deployment of 5,000 CCTV daily. Says CC. Okay, let me just go over that again. Tinubu orders deployment of 5,000 CCTV cameras to insecurity in Plateau. So yes, so maybe we'll start to see cameras like the way they hang out for Ikeja and other places of Lagos. The way they see those cameras, that's soon now we'll start to see for inside. That's what we'll start seeing right now in Plateau State. So maybe, who knows, you're going to have a lot of cameras left, right, and center in Plateau State. Okay. So that's to say that to some extent, who knows, insecurity might just come down in Plateau State. So hopefully our fingers are crossed so that people in Plateau State so that people in Plateau State will at least to some extent see that, oh yeah, something is being done. All right, the president is not going to talk you on. You don't go. Thank you very much for or rather in.com, and at the end of the day, in times go soon, go. So, but 5,000 CCTV cameras, would that help to tackle insecurity? All right, only time should tell. So let's go on to the Daily Post this morning. On the Daily Post, EFCC 6 permanent forfeiture of 57 properties linked to SAGF Malimi to federal government. All right, let's head on to another one. On the Daily Post, Adamawa enrolls 25,000 residents in expanded health scheme. This is good. This is definitely kudos to the Anambra government. Now, another thing is another headline here on Daily Post. Adamawa enrolls 250,000 residents in expanded health scheme. All right, so yeah, this could actually also be good. All right. Now let's head on to the Tribune. Then on the Tribune newspaper, it says pension. Bayelsa Deputy Governor advocates welfare for ex-lawmaker support. Yes, it says Bayelsa Governor. It says that Bayelsa Governor, that mentions right
Hello.
now. It says Bayelsa Deputy Governor advocates. All right, we have a call. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Francis from calling from Ogun State.
All right, Francis, you're very much welcome. Francis from Ogun State, you're welcome. Please go ahead, Francis. Let's hear you.
Yes, you see, this president, this man is a confused man. Sorry for that language. But then, 5 or 6
Hi, Francis, are you there?
thousand. Hello. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yes, you are talking about camera.
Yeah.
That one may be possible. So later you will hear what the disciples, the followers will come to tell us the cost of.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. All right, Francis. All right, thank you very much, Francis, for calling. We do appreciate your call this morning. And he's saying that, well, cameras and saying that this will not happen again in Plateau State. We'll just have to watch and see. We'll just have to wait and see if this will really be what is going on there in Plateau State. All right, 07000 You can also dial 09155 Please do well to dial the numbers 070,000 um 9 07000 okay, or 081 155 917 917. Those are the numbers to call. The numbers to send in WhatsApp messages is 070 317 56537. All right, 070 537 56537. Those are the numbers to get in touch with me today on the program. All right. You can also go ahead and watch me live on YouTube. You can also watch me live on um let's see, Facebook, well, yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and X at WFM917. Okay. All right, so it's about 8 on the dot right here on Women Radio, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. I hope that you're following up with the conversation this morning. Do want to call in and to send me WhatsApp messages, very much soon so that I'll get to read them all up in air, on air rather. All right, so we could definitely hear from each other. All right, let's head on straight to the next headline. Let's try to finish up with the headlines this morning. And then when we finish up with this, we'll definitely go into one or two headlines that caught our attention this morning. All right, let's head on to. I was about completing that. I think I was in the premium time. I think I was on the cable. No, we're done with the cable. On the Tribune, yes, on the Tribune. So I mentioned earlier that Pensions Board, Bayelsa State Government, um, all right, Bayelsa Deputy Governor advocates welfare support for lawmakers. All right, let's head on to the next one and last one on Tribune. 2027, it says 2027, Bauchi Governor urged to shun in PC. All right, so that's it from the Tribune newspaper. So lastly, let's head on to the Pen Pushing newspaper. On Pen Pushing, 2027 independent electoral um or rather, let's say 2027 Independent National Electoral Commission. Yeah, Independent National Electoral Commission. Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning, Evangelist Dixon. Please go ahead. Let's hear you. Mm, mm, All right, thank you very much, Evangelist Dixon. Yep, Nigeria will be great again. Thank you so much for calling and giving your 2 cents on some of the headlines this morning. So yes, you can also do the same by dialing 07917 or 09155 You can also go ahead and send us WhatsApp messages or text messages to 07031756537. All right, on pen pushing this morning, pen pushing says that number okay, pen pushing says 2027 Independent Electoral Commission sets back on nationwide voter revalidation. Okay, so this is definitely for you. If you have issues with your voters card, please try to do so before the end of 2017. All right, so you should they should be able to finish up all of these things before then, and we'll see that yes, so they are running a very clean campaign. So well, however it turns out, let's get to see. Hopefully, they get to do what is right. Yeah. All right. So that's it's coming from the pen pushing. Another okay, the last one from pen pushing says federal road safety codes. The personnel does not create federal road safety codes personnel. Okay, Federal Road Safety Corps deploy personnel for Easter Special Patrol in open states. All right, so yes, this will at least help to keep the attention of the states okay. Or rather, this will definitely help to the safety of the roads. Definitely be good. So it's good to get to hear about it. And yesterday, I was just talking about those who went in recruitment process to try and join any of these paramilitary groups. But hey, I mean, up to today, nothing has been done. But we hope and we pray that the few people who are into this, will definitely you know be able to control whatever crowd or anything at all that comes to or want to tamper with the peace of the states. Okay. So yes, Federal Road Safety Corps deploys personnel for Easter Special Patrol in Ogun State. All right, so hopefully other states also will do same, and we'll get to see that Nigeria is getting better. All right, so this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, 8 minutes after 8, and this is the Daily News Review on the Full Breakfast Show, and this is where we get to give you different headlines from the dailies, and of course, we get to open up the phone lines so that you can call in and, of course, do what you send in your messages too. Willie is yeah. So just do want to be a part of the program this morning. All right, so let's head on to take up the headline that we will talk about this morning, and you can also call in and join me as I look into this particular headline. Now, this one is talking about the plateau killings, and I think I read it part of the headlines I gave this morning. This is looking into the plateau killings, and this is coming from Vanguard, and it says plateau killings. This won't happen again, vows Tinubu. Okay, so he said plateau killings. This won't happen again, says Tinubu. Now, he goes on to say that President Bola Tinubu has directed security agencies to break down and comprehend who's responsible for anything in from Palm Sun. Okay, I'm just trying to get that right. Now, President Bola Tinubu has directed security agents to track down and apprehend those responsible for the killings in Agwan Rukubajos, not local government area, Plateau State, even as he consoled families of victims. Now, the deadly incident occurred on a sadly Sunday, Palm Sunday, when suspected bandits attacked a popular bar in the community, leaving over 28 people dead and many others injured, according to the Plateau State Command. All right, so it just goes on and on and on. And the president spoke during a town hall meeting with evangelists. Sorry, I beg your pardon. No, I'm not calling evangelist. So maybe because evangelist just called. He says that the president was speaking during a town hall meeting with key stakeholders in the state capital. Tinubu sympathized with the family of the victims, emphasizing that no amount of money could ever replace the loss. He said there is nothing one can do. There's nothing one can do with that. Whether like he said, or rather, he said, there's nothing I can give you, whether in billions, but to console you and promise that this experience will not repeat itself. I know the pain and the agony in your heart. Only God can give you joy and commit no amount of order. All right, no amount. Yeah, okay, can give you joy, and no amount can restore what you have lost. Yeah. Tinubu also assured the federal government that as Tinubu also, let's say, I'm trying to get that part of it. Also said that I can give you, there's nothing I can give you, whether in billions, but to console you and promise that this experience will not repeat itself. I hope, um, I know the pain and agony in your heart. Only God can give you joy and comfort. No amount of money, a story of those affected. All right. So that is coming from the Vanguard newspaper. And this is just the president, telling us some of the things that he vows to do. So he said, saying that, oh, this kind of things will not happen in Jos again or in Plateau State. All of this will not repeat itself again. We have a lawyer. No, not lawyer. And they have instilled cameras everywhere, or they are going to instill cameras just to make sure that this kind of things does not happen again. But is that, really what should happen? Is that really, the case? So what if, even with the cameras, all this happened? Because the camera is supposed to show you, oh, what has happened before. So, and even the camera itself, don't you think that on a very normal day, even when these attackers go out to attack the young ones, don't you think that they might probably, if all of these cameras are put in place and all of these promises, so what if these promises does not come to pass? What if things just turn the other way around when we want to look at it, from different angles in Jos, in Plateau State, because we know how fragile that state is. We know how, a lot of things, little things could just spark, a lot of unrest in Jos. So, how do we want to make sure that this will definitely work for people? And then, secondly, the money you would use to do this, yeah, the money, that they would use to install these CCTV cameras. Only God knows how much. Only God knows how much. Now, it might be the president to do it, or it might be the vice, his job, in history. But at the end of the day, where is the money heading to? Are they really going to use it to buy those lamps? I said lamps, those cameras. We don't know. Are those, are those monies going to be used to maybe pay the people that have been safeguarding, the community? So it's just a lot. There's just a lot of things that are just going on here, and it could just get one thinking. So it's quite, well, we thank the president for actually, going for that, to make all of those promises and to see that, oh yes, so billions of not billions, but a good sum of money is going to be, withdrawn and give it to buy, or rather, and it's going to be withdrawn and it's going to be used to buy this cameras. So with the cameras, work in the long term, or it just be a case of I beg, time don't pass. Look, when I leave that one, the issue of Agua Rukuba has passed. Let's just leave that and move on. And before you know it, they're already heading on to other things. So while Tinubu went ahead to assure that the federal government will provide support to affected families while resuming service, while ensuring justice is served. As a government, we will try our best to comfort you and work with you. Please feel solution in the okay. The best solution is for justice to be done. The president promised. So, how many of us right now will, be able to take up that kind of promise? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So if the president comes out, oh yes, I promise you that there'll be this, there'll be that, there'll be this, there'll be that. How many of us will actually believe him? believe what the president said. For some of us, when we see it, we'll say, until you go and actually use that particular thing, or you go and touch it, and you can actually beat your chest and say, yes, it's a good thing. So, but because you will see a lot of money that will be earmarked for this, quite frankly, you see a lot of money that will be earmarked for this. Will it be used exactly for that? Oh, you get so that's quite another thing, because it's one thing to say and it's another thing to do. All right, so yes, this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7, 16 after 8. Let's go ahead and take up the messages that we have this morning. All right, so let's see the messages we have from our listeners. Let's see. Now, this one says that this is coming from Odola, it's coming from Olusoga Ajayi from Idonla Ikorodu. He goes on to say the president has no business going to Jos. If he was going to turn the airport, if it was a campaign, he will enter loops and creams of the state to solicit votes. Now, lives were lost, citizens are panicking, and all you could do was a isolation visit to this to no. Okay, what he's saying is that the president has no business going to Jos. If he was going to turn at the airport, if it was a campaign, he would enter nooks and crannies of the state to solicit votes. Lives were lost, citizens are panicking, and all you could do was a consolation speech at the airport. Even after the relatives who just lost their people dressed up to meet him, a waste of everybody's time. Olusoga Ajayi from Odola. Hey, but at least he's still visited now. And even he did visit, all of us will say, oh, the president should visit, the president should visit, the president should visit. But at least he's still visited. Is that not? That's it. He's still visiting, even if you're at airports. He still visits. Anyway, God really help us in this country. So let's head on to another message here. This is coming from additional Wasi from Ikorodu. It was morning to you in the studio on Iran and Iraq. On Iran-US war, President Trump is the most confused leader I've ever seen. Weak is saying is not enough. All right. Let me see. I think I'm mixing this message up. Okay, so he says, morning to you in the studio. Iran and US war President Trump is the most confused leader I've ever seen. The same week he's saying is not going to attack Iran energy plant, and today he's saying he's going to attack their electricity plant. In one hand, he's saying that he's having dialogue with Iran. In another side, he's saying is going to hear them. Okay, he's going to hit them hard. Okay, he's going to hit them hard. Which type of leader is Trump? Last time he went to Venezuela, kidnapped their president. He's fully destroyed world economy. And if every leader behaved like Trump, there won't be peace in everywhere in the world. This is coming from Additional Wasi from Ikorodu. All right, thank you so much, Additional Wasi from Ikorodu. Let's head on to another one, still from Additional Wasi from Ikorodu. There's one to you in the studio on insecurity until we decentralize security apparatus of this country, because this central police will not help us. And my advice to National Assembly, they should empower states to have state police, and if possible, and it says that if possible, local government police to secure the community, because from all indication, it's like our leaders are profiting from this insecurity. And if care is not taken, this insecurity will spread to every part of our country. State police now or never. I am from Additional. So when we want to look at it, and you know that the president is all up for the state policing. We know that the president is for this, and he has actually given his go ahead, to go up with the state police. Now, my own fear with state police is if at the end of the day, this actually goes through or scales through, how do they? So that means in every state there'll be state security police that report to the government. Yeah, there will be there'll be state security police that also report to the same government. So as it is, how do we then navigate all of this? And let's not also forget that looking at it from the good side of it, these are people that are living in those communities. These are people that know the communities in and out. So it will be a good thing to actually see that this scales through, and maybe to a very large extent to see the state police doing what it is created to do. Okay, maybe to do what it's created to go ahead to do. But at the end of something else we need to think of, the police that we have now, the usual, the police that we have right now, are they being taken good care of? Have they been, have they been able to access all of what should come to them? We're talking about all of their for the former police officers. We're talking about their pensions. For the present one, are their salaries good enough? Are their living conditions good enough? Because without all of these things, you cannot have you cannot go ahead and do the state police, because they'll just be adding more stress to what is already there. So yeah, but then we'd like to see how this unfolds, because it's insecurity we're talking about. It's insecurity we are talking about here. So, and if these people really know exactly what is going on in their community, or know who to hit, or know how to bring up people, or know their community like the back of their palm, then yes, I think all these people would definitely they will do their best to see that this actually works out. All right, so those are all of the messages we have this morning on the program Daily News Review, and this is where we'll call it a day for today. It's a weekend and it's a holiday, and it's Easter, so I urge us all to have a great one ahead. Please do your celebrations well. Keep remembering Nigeria in your prayers. Pray for Nigeria. Pray for Nigeria. Pray for Plateau State. Pray for Nigeria as a whole to be better. Because if Nigeria as a whole to is better, even you yourself, you will feel am for your body. Everything going to go serious well for you. All right, so a very big thank you to Francis and to Evangelist Dixon that called, and to each and every one of you who tuned in, and to additional Wasi from Ikorodu, to Olusheka Jayi from Odola Ikorodu, for sending in your messages this morning. We do appreciate each and every one of you, and to each and everyone who tuned in to listen to us. This is your Women Radio. We're urging you a good public holiday and happy Good Friday and happy Easter in advance. Yes, stay with us right here on Women Radio. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Good morning.